Hail, fellow! Well met! And that's a medieval way of saying, thought it! This your boy, Zach. Today, this is Daily Dose of Reddit first, and then this is your boy, Zach. And today's subreddit is Fat People Stories. Alright, this story's called Overweight Person Tries to Deploy and Jeopardizes Everyone's Safety. Edited to add that the person in question is a civilian, not military. Several years ago, when the conflicts in the Middle East were ramped up, there was a call for folks to deploy over to support operations in Iraq. For military, this is a standard thing, but for civilians, this was a coveted opportunity to make extra income, hazard pay, tax exemptions, bonuses, etc. Because of this, many would volunteer for the assignment despite the rough physical demands, extreme heat, possible combat that precluded many from taking the assignments. Sounds like my day-to-day. Despite all this, there was a severely overweight person who volunteered time and time again for the assignment. Each time, their supervision would deny it due to the obvious health concerns of an obese individual going to a war zone. Someone obviously has been playing Call of Duty, because that's all there is. Then, out of some moment of madness, someone approved their request to deploy. Keep in mind, this person was so large that they had to fly first class due to not being able to fit into the standard seats. This will be important later. The day comes when this rotund individual makes their way on out to deploy. After the several hours of flying and transfers, they would arrive to the blistering heat of Iraq. Now, standard procedure from departing the plane and getting to the base was to go via armed convoy. Each person is also made to wear body armor while riding in the vehicles for their protection. This is not optional and is strictly enforced due to the nature of the area. Well, upon arrival, the young soldier leading the convoy is greeted by this massive person and soon realizes that not only is there no body armor large enough to fit them, but they will not fit in the armored vehicles they arrived in. After exhausting his options to try and fit this oversized person into the cramped confines of the Humvee, he radios back to the base to inform them of the problem, not the exact verbiage used. Base, we have an issue.
What's the issue?
The personnel from the airport will not fit.
What do you mean they will not fit?
They can't fit in the vehicles.
What?
The chatter devolves into shock and profanity as the soldier tries to explain how large this person is and the failed logistics of trying to fit several hundred pounds of human into a restrictive armored truck. All this while the convoy is sitting out in the open, essentially leaving everyone involved open to attacks. What was supposed to be a quick pickup has now turned into an extended stay in the front of the airport. After a significant amount of time had been spent trying to solve this oversized riddle, the conclusion was to send out what was called a bread truck that was normally only used to transport supplies on base. This thing was unarmored and was never intended to leave the confines of the base. Instead, it was now being used to haul a single person through the desert, flanked by armored trucks that attempted to act as a shield in the event of an attack. Once they arrived on base, the colonel in charge was livid, and rightfully so. In his frustration, he berated the oversized person and was then followed by furious callbacks stateside to demand an explanation of why anyone would have thought it was a good idea to send someone this large out to a war zone. In the end, whoever approved them to go became indignified to be chastised for sending a clearly physically unqualified person and doubled down on their resolve to leave that individual there for the duration of the deployment. This created all sorts of issues for the base commander, who now had to accommodate someone that was maybe 3 to 4 times the size of his standard service member. They ended up having to refit a storage container to become their office, which in the desert heat became a very uncomfortable place to be. The conclusion of all this ended up being that the person could not handle the heat as well as just overall deployed life, and had to be sent home early and replaced with another individual. Mind you, the whole debacle with the convoy had to be repeated to get them back to the airport. Damn, okay. How at fault is the big guy? Like, when they were ejected, were they given reasons why, and were they told that it would be a safety issue for not just them, but everyone around them? Because if so, then yes, they should be ashamed of themselves. But if they just were just like, hey man, I want to help out the military and get them big bucks, you know, take a paid vacay. I'm just kidding, it's not a vacation there. But anyway, my point is, kind of feel bad for them because I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, because that whole thing must have been really humiliating. But obviously I get why, you know, the folks in charge there would be upset, but I just don't know if they were targeting the right individual. It's like getting mad at a kid for their parents sending them somewhere, kind of. Alright, this story's called Got Told It's Easier for Me to Be Disabled Because I'm Slim. This happened a while ago, but as I was just lurking in this sub and reading, I suddenly remembered the situation. For context, I'm physically disabled. I have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos, pins and plates in my hips, slip discs, the lot. I have some kind of deep nerve issue. I was in hospital for a nasty infection. It was an ear infection. I've always had problems with my ears, but it went systemic and I was admitted for a few days while on strong antibiotics. I was in a ward with a few other women. One was next to me. I had an ear infection when I was in like 4th grade. It was horrible. My mom had to like pour olive oil in my ear, and I don't know if that actually helped or it was just a weird home remedy thing. But I did feel better pretty soon after, so who knows? Maybe it was just a coincidence. Maybe my mom actually knew what she was doing. The second day, the infection was dying down. I woke up and decided to stretch my legs. I'd been in bed for a day, kinda delirious, and as a result, my joints were screaming at me. I was also lying on my bad hip as my ear on the other side hurt. As I was walking and stretching, I guess I was grimacing in pain a lot because the lady next to me asked if I was okay. I chatted to her about my disabilities. She told me about hers, etc. It was nice until the woman opposite me, who had been a real pain in the arse, the whole time, rudely interrupted and said,
"Oh, but you're too young to be disabled. Besides, it's easier for you because you're skinny."
I was gobsmacked. This woman was easily 25 stone, which is around 350 pounds in the best unit of measurement when it comes to weight. Now, I'm not American, so we rarely get the health at every size activists here, but she went on a tirade about how it's so much easier for me to be disabled because I don't have fat weighing down my joints. Like, hello? I have to be slim because of my disabilities, and it's not frickin' easy when you're in agony all the time. A walk down the street is painful for me. I probably rudely asked what she was in for. She said she fell and was apparently dehydrated. I told her I was sorry to hear that and I hope she gets better soon. But she sneered at me and for the rest of my stay loudly complained about skinny girls. The rub of it was that she wasn't even disabled. She was just obese. An able-bodied person was telling me what it's like to be disabled when she was sat there constantly snacking and moaning about me just existing. Unbelievable. Believe it or not, that's the experience of like every minority group. I mean, I'm not saying your experience is any less bad. I'm just, bringing attention to the plight of those who feel, like this, kind of. Obviously, this is a very literal example of it. You're just existing, being disabled, and she's just pissed off at you or whatever. Okay, I sound insensitive. I'm not trying to be the opposite. But if I am, well, maybe you're just too sensitive. I'm joking, I didn't mean that. Anyway, OP, I hope you're feeling as Gucci as you possibly can be, and screw that lady. Actually, don't. She probably smells weird. Alright, this story's called My Uncle's Beard. This is a story of my Aunt Shirley. She was my uncle's beard. Sorry. At the time they met, she was topping the scales at 450 pounds. I don't remember her that small though. I was born 10 years later and always heard she weighed in at 700 pounds. And she sure as crap looked like it too. The year was 1991. The Soviet Union had just fallen. My grandfather was dying of lung cancer. Oh. Shirley was around a lot. She enjoyed pain medication and used to try and steal his because of her legs. You know that joke saying, "My legs"? Yeah, she would actually say that. Oh god. There was an extra bed in my grandfather's room. She was instructed never to sit in it because she could break it. And my family was poor, so they couldn't afford to replace it, and my mother needed it so she could sleep near Grandpa if he needed anything. Shirley comes waddling out of Grandpa's room. She gets her commode that she always brought with her because regular toilets couldn't hold her. Brings it in the bathroom. Mom goes to check on Grandpa. Well, look what the flippity-doo-dah Shirley did. She sat on the bed. Only it didn't fully break. She bent the steel frame and it was perfectly shaped like her massive ass. She waddles out of the now hazmat zone. Mom confronts her. Shirley tells her she saw my brother and I jumping on the bed. Woman, please, our grandpa is literally gray and gasping for air, and we're playing in his room? Mom calls her out on the beaver sausage. She still won't admit it. Fast forward a week later. It's Grandpa's funeral. It was quite emotional at the gravesite, as he was a veteran and they did the 21-gun salute. I noticed Shirley sobbing and grasping harder and harder at her walker. I lean in and say, "It's okay. That's it." And she snaps at me.
Ah, it's not that. My legs hurt.
Screw you, Shirley. She was quite the rude woman, and I hate her dearly. Oh, another quick one. Another time, she peed on my mom's foot when her and 6 others had to hurry her inside up 2 steps because it was starting to rain. Mom lifts her one foot on the first step and Shirley just pisses all over while giggling like a toddler. That is just embarrassing. Rest in peace, Grandpa, though. Cherish your memories with him, okay? I don't know what I'm gonna do when my grandpa passes. I'm gonna miss Jackie Chan. Alright, Ski, this story's called Long History of Posting Here Has Come Near the End. It's good, but it's really bad. The good news is, my sister planet has 100% come around and stopped her foodie bad behaviors. How she got there was finally listening to someone she deemed knew what they were talking about, even though the same advice was given to her multiple ways for a decade. Yay! The other person I normally would post about is Mama. She fell down the stairs and broke her neck and is now a quadriplegic. You'd think she'd be depressed and giving up on life, right? Nope. She is determined and finally agrees to do physical and occupational therapy beyond enduring the hour with the therapist. She does extra work on her own like she's supposed to. That's good. The two experiences are unrelated to the other. My sister got diagnosed with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and she finally let that sink in and kick her in the pants. She's doing great, and my weekend spent with her was so different with regards to her bringing attention to her food issues. My ma's situation happened January 23rd. While it feels out of the blue, we are all recognizing her history and self-blaming for not stepping in more forcefully. Poor choice of words, buddy. I do see a chance of litigation against the doctor who missed the cause of her fall, but that's not even on the forefront of what's needed right now. She had lost about 20 pounds prior to the fall. It's very clear she has no choice now but to eat what a healthcare worker will feed her in the hospital. When she gets home, we shall see. She's either going to comply and be grateful for any help she receives, or she may obsess over food and be a demanding beast. I think she's going to do good work and be the grateful type for all the help she will need once she gets home. While I'm relieved to not be in a position where I'm constantly barraged with talk about healthy eating and exercise, it is for the wrong reasons. I don't see how I can moan and groan anymore, and I am sure a lot of you will be happy about that. I did hear all the flack some people wrote regarding the other posts I've made. Thanks, bots, for constantly listing all of them everywhere, every time. Sarcasm. So I expect this to be the last post here from me. I hope so anyway. Maybe I'll update since it's such a weird situation. People are curious and care, and I need an outlet for my thoughts. But probably not. Crap just got real. Take care of your loved ones. Be forgiving. Let them forgive. Be there for them. It's a long haul, and the future is anyone's guess. One way or another, things resolve. What a beautiful sentiment, man. All right? Take care of your loved ones. Be forgiving. Let them forgive. Give. Be there for them. It's a long haul, and the future is anyone's guess. One way or another, things resolve. There. That was me echoing your thoughts. Alright, this story's called, Ever Notice Some Commercials Have Goals to Make You Ignore the Bad Eating Habits that are encouraged through TV advertising? Specifically talking about the mac and cheese commercial where the mom is chasing her 4-year-old daughter around the room trying to get her to finish her meal of cooked broccoli or something. Then, miraculously, there is mac and cheese available and the kid sits down to eat. When I was a kid growing up in the 70s, I was made to clean my plate, meaning I had to finish every last bit of food my ma cooked or there would be hell to pay. It makes me think of a joke. What would happen if Satan went bald? There would be hell to pay. Anyway, sorry. Special note, regular meals of my ma's were horrible. This because she grew up poor and raised me and my siblings with more money than she ever expected. She had it ingrained in her that we should eat a lot of food when we had it, no matter how it tasted or how we felt hungry. What we had a taste for did not matter. This was on the menu and we had a bounty, and we damn well appreciate it because, yes, there are starving people in China. That's not the example I'm used to, but I'm sure it's true. However, she came from a genetic pool of massive people. Odd, isn't it? Mostly because she grew up really skinny and probably got shamed for it because it reflected on how poor her widowed mother was. However, my mom's siblings' stock was compromised by near poverty. Back in her time, it was a disgrace that your skinny body showed the financial lack in the family. My ma's dad died when she was younger than 10, if that helps to envision the scenario. The other half of my genetic side is pretty much the same, but only skinnier. In their heyday, their natural body composition was more lean. Add the strife of hard times and likely even skinnier. Then add some gastrointestinal things that made overeating very unpleasant. I inherited both sides. I'm tall, too thin, and don't have a big appetite because the side effect of eating too much is very unpleasant. Gastric infection, is that it? Or is it just gastrointestinal? But that doesn't make any sense. I'm assuming it's gastric infection, probably. I don't even know if that's a thing. Is it? I mean, I know that there's infections that you can get in your GI tract, but okay, I'm done. Thanks, Mon Pops. Ha! I have a bit of PTSD reaction when I do feel like overeating. One, because I know it'll bite me in the GI all night, and two, because I relate not eating enough to punishment. So I will eat and suffer the GI, but only like 4 times a month, if carefully planned. My problem is that I just want to eat like a bird 80% of the time, and I have this weird psyche that it's wrong. Why the flippity doodah do we insist that everyone eat beyond normal? Ever! No wonder everyone is at odds with this. One size meal does not fit all. Let one another be. My 2 cents. Care to expound on that? I don't know exactly what you're ranting about. I get your, saying you just wish people would eat what they're comfortable with, what their bodies are meant to eat at one time, but I don't know how reinforced that is through commercials. I mean, I'm probably just oblivious to it because, the TV commercials and programming we have now is all I've ever known. So I don't know because kids don't like vegetables, but maybe it's because they're conditioned to not like it. And it's like, it's like sugar's good. It's addictive. So it's like, giving someone cocaine for like 3 months and then just being like, hey, instead of this cocaine, why don't you just take this nasal spray instead? It's better for you. Plus your sinuses are clogged. So it's not just pointless. And he's like, no, what? I don't want nasal spray. Give me cocaine. Cocaine makes me feel good. I like cocaine. But it's like, hey man, cocaine's not good for you. I know I've just been giving you cocaine and like, you see cocaine on TV all the time and it looks so much better than nasal spray, but nasal spray's better for you in that it's not gonna kill you as fast. But it's just like, I like cocaine though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm sure you do. All right, this one's called I Too Have a Toilet Story. I once rented a room from a woman for about 3 months. One of the things that made me leave was the toilet. There was constantly liquid crap dried on the back of the seat. I wiped it up a few times, but for the most part, I just perched with my thighs on the front to avoid it. I didn't want to embarrass her by always cleaning it up. Maybe she'd finally gaff and do it herself. What does gaff mean? Like, I know what it means in like the context of like Joe Biden talking, but like, I don't get this one. She was fat, middle-aged, and seemed to have an alcohol habit. She also related to me that she had back issues, so there's that. It never got better, and it's one of the things that made me move. I wonder if she had really bad eyesight or something. There was another roommate there too. I wonder if he noticed. He was not fat, by the way. If I had to guess, I feel like she freaking knew, but she had some severe laziness about dealing with it. Like, she must see it every time and think, there's my poo stain, but just put it out of her mind. Maybe I'll get it next time. Maybe she could not confront the horror of the loss of her ability to poo properly. I just really, really hope I never sink that low. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.